शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्ज सम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्वजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्त प्रतिपत्तये जगदः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन्। हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तेरणभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुवमभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചനാനിന്നോടായി ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുമ്പീടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കെന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. I don't know where the rest start, but we'll get started. We will do 4950 here. Sorry, 4748 review. Maybe Ravi, can you do one, and Hari, you can do one.
Sri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Uloka Pandana Varnam Ekata Tadi Vimadakarinim Madaram Samupaseti Van Bhavan स्तन्यलोलु पदया निवारयन् अङ्गमेत्य पपिवान् भयोदरौ अर्थपीडकुजकुट्मले द्वयी स्निग्धः समधुराननाम्बुजे दुग्धमीसदहने परिश्रितं दर्दुमासु जननी जकामते सामीपीदरसभङ्गसङ्गदक्रोधपारपरिपूतचेदसा मन्ददण्डमुपगृह्य पाडितं हन्त देवतदिपाजनं त्वया उच्चलध्वनितम् उच्चगैस्तदा सन्निसम्य जननी समातृदा त्वत्यसो विसरवत्तदर्शसा सत्य एव तदिविस्तृतं शिदौ वेदमार्गपरिमार्गिदं वृक्षा द्वामवीक्ष परिमार्गयन्त्यसौ सन्ददर्श सुकृदिन्युलूखले दीयमान नवनीतमोदवे त्वां प्रगृह्य पदभीतिभावना बासुरानन सरोजमासु सा रोक्षरूक्षितमुखी सुखी पुरो बन्दनाय रसनामुपाददे
இந்த செகண்ட் லைன்ல சகி புரு அந்த வேர்டு மட்டும் சகி
रोक्षरूक्षितमुखी सखी पुरो बन्दनाय रसनामुपाददे बन्धुमिच्छति यमेव सज्जनस्तम्भवन्तमयि बन्तुमिच्छति सा नियुज्य रसनागुणान् बहून् त्वयङ्कुलोन् अखिलं किलैक्षदम्
லாஸ்ட் வேர்டு திவங் அது திவங்குலோனம் easy to break it at that ma like that. So Divangulonam Akhilam
अखिलं
Kilaish.
द्वङ्गुलोनम् अखिलं किलैक्षदम् विस्मितोत्स्मित सखी जनेक्षितां स्विन्न सन्न वपुषं निरीक्षताम् नित्यमुक्त वपुरप्यहो हरे बन्धमेव कृपयान्वमन्यताः स्थीयतां चिरमुलूकले खले त्यागदा भवनमेव सायताम् प्राकुलु कलबिलान्तरे तदा सर्भिरर्पितम् अदन्नवास्थिताः यत्यपासु सुखमो विभो भवान् स्मयत् संयतः किमु सपासयानया एवमादि दिविजैरभिष्टुतो वादनाथ परिपाहि मां गदात् श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः
ஹரி நீங்க பண்றீங்களா 48
ஆமாட்டுமா
பண்ணுங்க
ஓகே दशकं 48 मुदासुरौघैः स्वमुदारसम्मदैः उदीर्य दामोदर इत्यभिष्टुदः मृदुधरस्फैरमुलुगले लहन् अदूरदे दौकगुबावुदैषदः कुबेरसुनूर्नलकूबराभिदः परो मणिग्रीव इति प्रदां कदः महेशसेवादिकदश्योन्मदौ सिरं किल त्वद्विमुखा वगेलदां सुराबगायां किलदौ मदोत्कडौ सुराबहायात् बहुयौ वदात्मदौ विवाससौ केलिबरौ स नारदौ भवत्पदैः प्रवणो निरक्षदाम्
அந்த டியூன் வந்து ஹரி கொஞ்சம் இந்த இது கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லைட்லி டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டியூன் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் பியா பிரியாலோகமுபாத்தவாசசம் புரோ நிரீக்ஷாபி மதாந்த சேதசௌ அந்த டியூன்
प्रिया प्रिया लोकमुपात्तवाससं पुरो निरिष्याभिमदान्दसेदसौ इमौ भवत् भक्तिबस् सान्दिसिद्धये मुनिर्जहौ सान्दिमृदे कुदस्तुगम् युवामवाब्धौ कगुबात् मदां सिरं हरिं निरीक्षादपदं सुमप्नुदम् इति हृदौ पवदीक्षण स्पृहुहां कदौ वृजान्ने कवुबौ बभूवधुः अदन्द्रमिन्द्ररुयुगं तदाविदं समेयुषा मन्दरहामिनात्वयां तिरायितोळुहलरद निर्दुदौ सिराय जीर्णौ परिबाधिदौ दरू अपाजिसागित् हृदयं यदा त्वयां तदैव दत्कर्बदलां निरेयुषां महात्विषा युगे युगेन दक्षिणात्
அந்த
अवाजि
word,
गोविन्द भवनाभिस्तवैः
third line, Mahatvisha Yaksha Yugena Takshanat.
मगात्विषा यक्षयुगेन तक्षणाद् अबाजि गोविन्द भवनाभिस्तवैः इगन्या भक्तोऽपि लमेष्यति क्रमाद् भवन्तमेदौ खलु रुद्रसेवकौ मुनिप्रसाद् भवदङ्घ्रिमाहदौ कदौ व्रणानौ खलु भक्तिमुत्तमाम् तदस्तरुत्तारणदारुणारव प्रकम्बि सम्वादिनी तदत्तरुत्तारणतारुणारव प्रकम्बि सम्वादि निगोपमण्डले विलाज्जित त्वच् जननी मुगेशनां विमोषि नन्दन भवन् विमोक्षदः मगिरिहोर्मध्य कदो मगिरिहोर्मत्य दार्बहुं हरे प्रभावाद परीक्षतोऽधुना विधि प्रवान् कविदो गृहं भवान् मरुत्पुरादीश्वर पाहि मां कदा कृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे
So start with 49. So 49 is Vrindavana Gamana Varnanam. So which is like the journey to Vrindavana. Let me see where Pramila, you can be a student, and so Vidya Raman, you can be a student. So stanza 1. Bhavat Prabhava Vidurahi Gopaha Taru Prapatadikamatra Goshthe Ahetumutpata Ganam Vishankya Prayatumanyatra Mano Vitenuhu. So we saw in the last Dasakam about Nalakubra Manigriva, them getting rescued or liberated, right? So the Gopas, like we said, the Gopas and the Gopikas who are there, they did not know about who Krishna is or about the glory of Krishna, but they start seeing all these incidents which are actually happening, right? And like we said, this place, Gokulam, where they are, is a pretty quaint, like a very small town where nothing much actually happens. It's a pretty eventless place, but where suddenly all of these things are beginning to happen. And they all are beginning to feel concerned that why do these things suddenly are happening? All of this sudden, this big tree is falling, which has been there for thousands of years. So they all begin to get concerned. So they all have a meeting, right? They all kind of convene, all the elders are convening and saying, let us discuss as to why all these things are actually happening there. Bhavat Prabhava Vidurahi Gopaha. That is goes away, put a visarga comma. So they don't know your prabhavam, they don't know your greatness. So they don't know why all this is happening and why it is okay. Gopaha, comma. Taru Prapata Dikamatra Goshthe. That Prapata Dikamatra is one word. Ahetum Utpata, if you want to break it, Ahetum Utpata Ganam Vishankya, comma. Prayatum Anyatra Mano Vitenuhu. Bhavat Prabhava Vidurahi Gopaha Taru Prapata Dikamatra Goshthe Ahetum Utpata Ganam Vishankya Prayatum Anyatra Mano Vitenuhu.
भवत्प्रभावा विदुराहि गोपाः तरुप्रपातादिकमत्र गोष्ठे अहेतुमुत्पातगणं विशङ्क्य प्रयातुमन्यत्र मनोवितेनुः भवत्प्रभावा विदुरा हि गोपाः तरुप्रपातातिकमत्र गोष्ठे अहेतुमुत्पातगणं विशङ्क्य प्रयातुमन्यत्र मनोवितेनुः
Vidya, mute little.
Sorry. भवत्प्रभावा विदुरा हि गोपाः तरुप्रपातादिकमत्र गोष्ठे अहेतु उत्पादकगणं विशङ्क्य प्रयातुमन्यन्त्रमनोविधेनुः भवत्प्रभावा विदुरा हि गोपाः तरुप्रभातादिकमत्र गोष्ठे अहेतु उत्पादकणं विशङ्क्य प्रयातुमन्यत्र मनोविधेनुः
That's two. Tatropanandabhidagopavaryo jago bhavat preranayaiva nunam itah pratichyam vipinam manognyam vrindavanam nama virajatiti. So when they all meet, so this one of the senior members there, a person by name Upananda. So that Nanda, Upananda means the other older Nanda. So there's maybe another person called Nanda, but he's more senior, so he's called Upananda. So he then says that who knows about a lot of these things. He says that for us, this Gokulam, this place has been a great place for a really long time. But he says, but somehow some evil, sometimes we attribute bad things to the place. But he's doing the same thing. He's saying, it's because something has gone wrong with this place, because of which these small boys, Krishna and Rama, have had to undergo all this. Suddenly, this lady called Putana, and she came. Then the wind took over one day. Then the cart fell. Nothing happened to the boys. The tree, they went in between. Krishna went in. Nothing happened. Says all of this seems to be like bad omens of this place. So I think it is time for us to actually move away and relocate from this place. And he says, I know a really good place, called as Vrindavanam. It starts with a V, not with the Ba. So in North, over a period of time, the Va becomes a Ba. Okay, so the Vraj Bhumi becomes a Braj Bhumi. Vrindavan becomes Brindavan. But the right word is Vrindavan, as in V, where the root word Vrinda refers to Tulasi plants. So this is a Vanam which is filled with Tulasi trees. So that's why it's called Vrindavanam. So he says there's a place just across the, so they are not quite on the banks of Yamuna at this point. So they are a little bit, if you go ever visit that Mathura, Vrindavan, Gokul place, Mathura and Vrindavan are on the banks of the Yamuna river. This Gokulam is little away. So they says across the river, there is this place called Vrindavan, which is very beautiful, perfect for us to go settle. So he recommends that they all move there. Tatropa Nandabhida Gopa Varyo, Jagau Bhavat Preranayaiva Nunam. He says all of this, but says all of this cannot happen. It's because you, O Krishna, it's because of you are deciding that it's time to move to Vrindavan, because that's where Yamuna is there. There's a lot more leelai that has to happen there in Vrindavan. Bhavat Prerana Eva Nunam.
ராஜேஷ் பவரியாக்கு அப்புறம் இது இருக்கா பவரியாக இல்லையா
In the first, like Gopa Varyo, in case you have Gopa Varyaha, just change it to Varyo to be consistent. But it generally is the Visarga becomes an O sound there.
Thank you.
Itaha, put a F to join. Itaf pratichyam vipinam manognyam, Vrindavanam nama virajatiti. Tatropanandabhidagopavaryo jagau bhavat preranayaiva nunam itah pratichyam vipinam manognyam Vrindavanam nama virajatiti.
तत्रोपनन्दाभितगोपवर्यो जगौ भवत्प्रेरणयैव नूनम् इतः प्रतीच्यां विपिनं मनोज्ञं वृन्दावनं नाम विराजतीति तत्रोपनन्दाभितगोपवर्यो जगौ भवत्प्रेरणयैव नूनम् इतः प्रतीच्यां विपिनं मनोज्ञं वृन्दावनं नाम विराजतीति।
तत्रोपनन्दापिदगो बवर्यो जगौ भवत्प्रेरणयैव नूनम् इदः प्रतीष्यां विपिनं मनोज्ञं बृन्दावनं नाम विराजतीति। तत्रोपनन्दापिदगोपवर्यो जगौ भवत्प्रेरणयैव नूनम् इदः प्रतीष्यां विपिनं मनोज्ञं बृन्दावनं नाम विराजतीति।
That's the three. बृहद्वनं तत्खलु नन्दमुख्याः विधाय गौष्ठीनमतक्षणेन त्वदन्वितत्वज्जननी निविष्टगरिष्ठयानानुगता विचेलुः. So this Dasakam, nothing much happens. Dasakam is a pretty simple thing. They just relocate. That's all they're going to talk about. So he says they essentially pack everything, because they don't have much anyways there. They all have their cows and their calves and all the things, but whatever stable, everything, they leave it back so that the place is called as Brihadvana. That the place they're leaving back, Gokulam, is called Brihadvana. It becomes just a cow shed essentially because there's nothing there anyway. So they pack everything, and then the entire group, because they're all one big group of people, they all decide to relocate together. And then you, Krishna and Balarama, also get into the cart, right, along with your mothers. Brihatvanam tat khalu Nanda Mukhyaha. Add a visarga there and a comma. Nanda Mukhyaha. Vidaya Gaushthi Namata Kshanena Twadanvita Twaj Janani Nivishta, put a plus, Garishta Yananugata Vicheluhu. Brihatvanam tat khalu nanda mukyaha vidhaya gaushtheenamatakshanena twadanvita tvajjanani nivishta garishthayananugata vicheluhu.
बृहद्वनं तत्खलु नन्दमुख्याः विधाय गौष्ठीनमथक्षणेन त्वदन्वितत्वज्जननी निविष्टगरिष्ठयानानुगता विचेलुः बृहद्वनं तत्खलु नन्दमुख्याः विधाय गौष्ठीनमथक्षणेन त्वज्जननी निविष्टगरिष्ठयानानुगता विचेलुः.
Pramila, that second line, first word, Twadanvita.
Twadanvita Tvajjanani. Okay, thank you.
बृहद्वनं तत्खलु नन्दमुख्याः विदाय गौष्ठीनमदर्शनेन त्वदन्वितत्वज्जननी निविष्टकरिष्ठया नानुगता विसेलुः बृहद्वनं तत्खलु नन्दमुख्याः विधाय गौष्ठीनमदर्शनेन त्वदन्वितत्वज्जननी निविष्टकरिष्ठया नानुगता विसेलुः.
Sense of both. Ano manognyadhvanidhenupali khura pranadantarato vadhubihi bhavadvinodalapitakshārani prapiyanagnāyatamargadairyam. So that place, if you ever end up visiting, it's about a 2 hours drive wise, right, from Vrindavan to where Gokulam was. But they are all going in carts, so it takes them a long time. So with that, they pack everything and then they all decide to leave. And I say even that journey all along the way, it kept them occupied because Krishna and Balarama were there. So they all were occupied by talking about all the things that happened and playing with them. And with that way, they were fully engrossed in there. So Krishna was about 3 years old, right? So up to the point that Krishna is going to go to Mathura, there is a pretty detailed, we'll be able to tell what age he was. Once he goes to Mathura, then things little bit get all merged, because not everything necessarily goes sequentially. So anyway, so at this point, he's 3 years old. So he stayed in Gokulam only for 3 years. And the rest of the time, next 7 years, is going to be spent in Vrindavan, and then he's going to move to Mathura. So anyway, at this 3 years, they all move, and on the way, they kept talking about you, and that kept them busy. And finally, they are about to reach Vrindavan. Ano manognya dhvani dhenu pali long e, put a plus, khura pranadantarato vadhubihi bhavat vinodalapitakshārani. That word is cannot break that word. Bhavat vinodalapitakshārani, comma, prapiya nagnayata marga dairghyam. Ano manognya dhvanidhenu pali khura pranadantarato vadhubihi bhavat vinodalapitakshārani prapiya nagnayata marga dairghyam.
Anu manojñadvanidenupaali khura pranadantarato vabdubhihi bhavat vinodalapitakshārani prapiyatñātñāyada margadhairyam.
That last word, dairgyam, ga sound, dairgyam.
Oh, dairghyam, not dairyam. Okay, dairghyam. Thank you. Ano manojñadvanidenupaali khura pranadantarato vadhubihi bhavat vinodalapitakshārani prapiyanaඥāyada margadhairyam.
Ano manognyadvanitenupali kurapranatantarato vadhubihi bhavat vinodalabidakshārani prabhiyanaඥāyatamat kadairyam. Ano manognya dvanidhenupali kurapranatantarato vadhubihi bhavat vinodalapitakshārani prabhiyanaඥāyatamat kadairyam.
Nirikshya vrindavanamishanandat prasuna kunda pramukadrumaugham amodatashadvalasandra lakshmya harinmani kuttima puštashobham. Say 5 and 6 meaning together. Nirikshya vrindavanam isha nandat. It sound, then put a plus. Nandat prasuna kunda pramukha drumaugham. So that line is together. Amodataha, put a ish to join. Amodatash shadvala sandra lakshmiya, comma, harin mani kuttima pushta shobham. Nirikshya vrindavanamishanandat prasuna kunda pramukha drumaugham amodata-shadvala-sandra lakshmya harinmani kuttima pushta-shobham.
Nirikshya vrindavanamishanandat prasuna kunda pramukhadrumaugham amodata-shadvala sandra lakshmya harinmani kuttima pushta-shobham. Nirikshya vrindavanamishanandat prasuna kunda pramukhadrumaugham amodata-shadvala sandra lakshmya harinmani kuttima pushta-shobham.
Nirikshya vrindavanam ishananda prasuna kunda pramukhatrumaugham maugam amodata sadvala shantra lakshmya harinmani kuttima pushta shobham. Nirikshya vrindavanam ishananda prasuna kunda pramukhatrumaugham amodata sadvala shantra lakshmya harinmani kuttima pushta shobham.
On the first line, halfway point, nandat, there's a it there. You see that?
Okay, nandat.
Nandat. எனக்கு அது நந்தன்னு கேட்டது. Nandat. It is it sound
Nandat
there.
Prasuna.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's a 6. नवाक निर्व्यूढ निवास भेदेषु अशेष गोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितः पर्यगलोकथास्त्वम्. 5 and 6. So they enter Vrindavan. That place is, they're seeing it is completely lush and green, and they talked about all the plants. There are jasmine plants there. And then it is like green as if there was emeralds laid out everywhere because it is a big forest area and there is a big river, Yamuna is flowing through it. So that place is anyway very lush. So they are seeing the very lush green area out there. And then they all go settle down. They all start building their houses. It talked about how they're building it in the shape of a half moon. So in a U-shaped format. So they all build their respective houses. They settle. The boys now decide it's time to go and explore Vrindavan and actually see what is outside. So they talk about what else is there in Vrindavan for the next few stanzas. Navaka Nirvyudha Nivasa Bhedeshu. So if you have a ish and a va there, we're going to strike that ish and a va and make it Bhedeshu, comma. The next word is going to become Ashesha. Okay, so that ish and va goes away. So shu, comma, Ashesha, Gopeshu, Sukhasiteshu, Vanashriyam, Gopa, Kishora, Pali, long E, put a plus, Bimishritaha, put a F to join, Bimishrita, Paryaga Loka Thastvam. So that second line is together.
Navaka, Navaka. In my book, it is Navaka. First word. Navaka.
Navaka. नवाक निर्व्यूढ निवास भेदेषु अशेष गोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितः पर्यगलोकथास्त्वम्.
नवाकनिर्व्यूढनिवासभेदेषु अशेषगोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितः पर्यगलोकतास्त्वम्. नवाकनिर्व्यूढनिवासभेदेषु अशेषगोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितः पर्यगलोकतास्त्वम्.
नवाकनिर्व्यूढनिवासभेदेषु अशेषगोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरबाली विमिश्रित प्रयकलोकता swam.
Last word, with the last word or second. Paryaga Lokathastvam.
Ka means Paryaga Lokathastvam. Yeah, ka sonne, sorry. Thank you. Navakanirvyuta nivasa vedeshu asesha gopeshu sukha siteshu vanashriyam gopa kishora bali vimishrita prayakalo kathastvam. Paryakalo Gatastvam. Paryakalo Gatastvam.
Yeah, correct. That's the PAR, par. If you want to break it, you can break it as paryak, ik sound, then it becomes alokathastvam in that case. Okay. So it is a
That's
ga.
not right.
I mean, it's a ga sound there. So you can either say paryaga lokathastvam as one word, or if you are paryak alokathastvam, that's two words.
Yeah. So, enna meaning actually? Paryakalo kasta kalas.
Loka is to look. It's literally to look around. Paryak is around. So Paryaga Lokatasam, they went to look around that place. Okay. So, but if it's easy to say it as one word, Paryaga Lokatastvam.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a 7. Arala Marga Gata Nirmalapam. Marala Kuja Krita Narmalapam. Nirantarasmera Saroja Vatram. Kalinda Kanyam Samalokayastvam. I don't know how many of you have been to Vrindavan, but if you haven't, you should absolutely make a trip. Not because it's not as beautiful as they're describing it here. Now things have changed, right? It's like any other place in India right now, but it's still very pious, right? It's still like a punya kshetram there. And that place, however, when you go, you'll see more people talking about Radha than they talk about Krishna, because that is the birthplace of Radha. So people always are like Radhe, Radhe there than Krishna there, right? But anyway, as Krishna, so as the boys are now literally wandering around, right? Like in 3 years, 5 years, they're all wandering around. So the first thing their eyes fall on is this river Kalindi. So Kalindi comes from the Kalinda mountain. So it's called as Kalindi, which is also means Yamuna. That's the other name of the river. So it's referred as Kalindi, which was actually flowing all the way through, because the entire forest or the Vrindavan area is built around that river, essentially, right? So they're seeing that that river is flowing through the various parts of the forest out of the town, and then they're seeing all these beautiful lotuses and all that, and that river looks very pretty. Arala margagata nirmalapam, marala kujakrita narmalapam nirantara smera saroja vaktram, Kalinda Kanyam Samaloka Yastvam. Kanyam is daughter. Kalinda is the mountain name Kalinda. So the daughter of Kalinda, which is refers to the river Kalindi. Arala Marga Gata Nirmalapam Marala Kuja Krita Narmalapam Nirantara Smera Saroja Vaktram Kalinda Kanyam Samaloka Yastvam.
अरालमार्गागतनिर्मलापां मरालकूजाकृतनर्मलापां निरन्तरस्मेरसरोजवक्त्रां कलिन्दकन्यां समलोकयस्त्वम् अरालमार्गागतनिर्मलापां मरालकूजाकृतनर्मलापां निरन्तरस्मेरसरोजवक्त्रां कलिन्दकन्यां समलोकयस्त्वम्
अरालमार्गागतनिर्मलाभां मरालकूजाकृतनर्मलाभां निरन्तरस्मेरसरोजवक्त्रां कलिन्दकन्यां समलोकयस्त्वम् अरालमार्गागतनिर्मलाभां मरालकूजाकृतनर्मलाभां निरन्तरस्मेरसरोजवक्त्रां Kalindakanyam samalokayastvam.
Sansa 8. Mayurakeka shatalobhaniyam mayukamala shabalam manina virinchalokas prishamucha shringaihi girimcha govardhanamaikshathastvam. So the next big, tourist spot, or next big spot, the boys spot there is they see the big Govardhana mountain. Now, and of course the boys are very small, so for them things appear really big, right? So they see this massive sized mountain, Govardhana mountain, which is there, and they're talking about as if the peaks are touching the Satyaloka. So Virincha refers to Brahma. So they're touching the abode of Brahma, because they have never seen such a mountain before. Gokulam is a flat area. So they're coming to this Vrindavan, which has got this big Govardhana mountains, which is now made even more beautiful with all the peacocks and everything, all the birds and the trees and the fruits and the flowers which are there, which makes the mountain even more pretty. Mayura Keka Shata Lobhaniyam, Mayuka Mala Shabalam Maninam Birincha Loka Sprisham. I'm just breaking at that ma if you want. Sprisham Ucha Shringaihi. Put a visargan comma. Shringaihi. Next word, if you have a ir, that goes away. Girim cha Govardhanam. Breaking at that ma. Govardhanam Aikshatas Tvam. Mayurakeka Shatalobhaniyam Mayukhamala Shabalam Maninam Birinchalokas Prishamucha Shringaihi Girimcha Govardhanamaikshatastam.
मयूरकेकाशतलोभनीयं मयूखमालाशफलं मणीनां विरिञ्च लोकस्पृशमुच्च शृङ्गैः गिरिञ्च गोवर्धनमैक्षतास्त्वम् मयूरकेकाशधलोभनीयं मयूखमालाशफलं मणीनाम् विरिञ्च लोकस्पृशमुच्च शृङ्गैः गिरिञ्च गोवर्धनमैक्षतास्त्वम्
मयूरगे सतलोभनीयं मयूकमालाशबलं मणीनां विरिञ्च लोकस्पृशम् उच्चशृङ्गैः गिरिं च गोवर्धनम् ऐषधास्त्वम्
First line,
मयूर
Vidya. Mayura K-Ka.
நான் கே சொன்னேனா
Lele, I think you missed one ka, I think.
ஓகே
Okay.
मयूरकेक सतलोभनीयं मयूकमालाशफलं मणीनां विरिञ्च लोकस्पृशम् उच्चशृङ्गैः गिरिं च गोवर्धनम् ऐषतास्त्वम्
Answer 9. Samam tato gopakumarakaiस्त्वं समं ततो यत्र वनान्तमागाः ततस्ततस्तां कुटिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीमिवैकाम्. Just continuing. So they're observing that wherever they are going within Vrindavan, they always seem to track that Yamuna river, Kalindi, coming there because the forest is built around that river. So it feels Krishna as if because later on Krishna is going to marry Kalindi. So so each river has a deity. So he's going to essentially marry the deity of Yamuna later, Kalindi. But in this case, it feels like she's already trying to find you in isolation. She's trying to always follow you. So that wherever you go, Krishna, along with your friends, Kalindi seems to be following you in all of those places through the forest. Samam tato gopakumarakais tvam, samantato yatra vanantamagaha tatastam kutilamapashyah, Kalindajam Ragavatim Ivaikam. So Ragavati here refers to a female who's is just so much torn with love. So she's so much in love with somebody that she just follows that person everywhere. Similarly, Kalindi is also following you wherever you're going through the forest there. Samam tato gopakumarakaiस्त्वं samam tato yatra vanantamaghaha ततस्ततस्तां कुटिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीमिवैकाम्.
समं ततो गोपकुमारकैस्त्वं समन्ततो यत्र वनान्तमागाः ततस्ततस्तां कुटिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीम् इवैकाम्. समं ततो गोपकुमारकैस्त्वं समन्ततो यत्र वनान्तमागाः ततस्ततस्तां कुटिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीम् इवैकाम्.
समं ततो गोपकुमारकैस्त्वं समन्ततो यत्र वनात्तमागाः ततस्तां कुटिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीम् इवैकाम्. समं ततो गोपकुमारकैस्त्वं समन्ततो यत्र वनात्तमागाः ततस्तां कुटिलाम् अपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीम् इवैकाम्.
In the second time, in the last word, Ragavatim Ivaikam.
Ragavatim Ivaikam.
That's it. Tatha vidhesmin vipine pashavye samutsuko vatsagana prachare charan saramota kumarakaistvam samira geha dhipapahiroghat. So with that, because just Vrindavan description is going to go a little bit more into 50 as well. So with this, you, Krishna, along with Balarama and all the boys, went and explored all the places of Vrindavan. Like anyway, we go to a new place, everybody goes and explore. And then the cows, the calves, they are not big enough to take the cows yet. So with the calves, you also wandered everywhere through that. Guru Arpa, please eradicate my ailments. Tatha vidhesmin bipine pashavye, samutsuko vatsagana prachare charan saramota kumarakaistvam, samira gehadhipa pahi rogat. तथा विधेस्मिन् विपिने पशव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगण प्रचारे चरन् सरामोत कुमारकैस्त्वं समीर गेहाधिप पाहि रोगात्.
तथा विदेस्मिन् विपिने पशव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगणः प्रजारे चरन् सरामोऽथ कुमारकैस्त्वं समीरगेहाधिप पाहि रोगात्. तथा वितेस्मिन् विपिने पशव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगणः प्रचारे चरन् सरामोऽथ कुमारकैस्त्वं समीरगेहाधिप पाहि रोगात्.
तथा विदेस्मिन् विपिने पशव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगणः प्रचारे शरन् सरामोत कुमारकैस्त्वं समीरगेहाधिप पाहि रोगात्. तथा विदेस्मिन् विपिने पशव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगणः प्रचारे सनत्सरामोद कुमारकैस्त्वं समीरगेहाधिप पाहि रोगात्.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. 50. Okay, we'll switch for 50. Mrinalini, are you able to chant? I don't know if you're back. Can you be a student? Mrinalini?
I can.
Okay. Usha, you can be a student as Usha and Mrinalini. Okay, so Dasakam 50. This has got two parts to it. Vatsasura Vada Varnanam. So Vatsa refers to like a cow. So cow, calf, so that's why in the previous one it says Vatsagana, means the children or the clan of that. So Vatsasura, so Asura who comes in the form of a calf. And then Bakasura Vadavarnanam. So 2. So that's one. Tarala madhukrit vrindhe vrindavaneta manohare pashupashishubhes sakam vatsanupalana lolupaha haladhara sako deva shriman vicherita dharayan gavala murali vetram netrabhirama tanudhyutihi. This one starts a little bit again continuing, so they've all reached now in this place Vrindavan. The boys now are, Krishna has turned 3, so he is now being tasked. He has to go and graze all the calves. So when he transitions to 6 years old, then he'll graduate to taking the cows out. So at 3 years, he has to take the calves out to graze. So with that, you, Krishna, along with all your friends, along with Haladhara, along with Balarama, you all now begin to take all the calves out for grazing. And then you start, and some of these words, I'll tell now the meaning because it's going to come several times later and have a context to it. So the last line, Gavala Murali Vetram. So the Gavala refers to the horn which they use so that they can make noise to call the cows and to call. So there's a small horn. So you take the horn. Murali refers to the flute, and Vetram refers to the stick or the cane that they actually carry. So you have all of those equipped with you, right? They pack all of those things, and then you then begin to go grazing along with all of the boys there. Tarala madhukrit vrinde vrindavaneta manohare, pashupa shishubhihi, put is shishubhis sakam vatsanupalana lolupaha haladhara sakho deva shriman vicherita dharayan, gavala murali vetram netrabhirama tanudhyutihi. तरलमधुकृत् वृन्धे वृन्दावने तमनोहरे पशुपशिशुभिः साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः हलधरसखो देव श्रीमन् विचेरितधारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामतनुद्युतिः
सरलमधुकृद्वृन्दे वृन्दावनेथ मनोहरे पशुपशिशुभिः साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः हलधरसखो देव श्रीमन्विचेरितधारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामतनुद्युतिः तरलमधुकृद्वृन्दे वृन्दावनेथ मनोहरे पशुपशिशुभिः साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः हलधरसखो देव श्रीमन्विचेरितधारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामतनुद्युतिः
तरलमधुकृद्वृन्दे वृन्दावनेथ मनोहरे पशुपशिशुभिः साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः अलधरसखो देव श्रीमन्विचेरिथ धारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामतनुद्युतिः तरलमधुकृत् वृन्दे वृन्दावनेथ मनोहरे पशुपशिशुभिः साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः हलधरसखो देव श्रीमन्विचेरिथ धारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामतनुद्युतिः.
Answer 2. विहित जगति रक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणद्वन्द्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न भभौ सम्पत् सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणी गोत्र क्षेत्रादिकं कमलापते. So Kamalapate, oh consort of Lakshmi. So you, Krishna, whose feet are massaged by Mahalakshmi. So Lakshmi Kara Ambuja Lalitam. So Lakshmi with her lotus-like hands are pressing your feet. So when those feet begin to walk in Vrindavan, of course, that place is just completely sanctified. So wherever you're walking in Vrindavan, whether you're walking, you are walking on the hills or walking on the fields of Vrindavan, wherever you walk, the entire place is getting sanctified. And because of that, the trees, the creepers, and everything there are also becoming, sanctified. And there's going to be more description of the greatness of Vrindavan, multiple of these Dashakams forward. And if you ever get a chance to go there, you'll see that people still, and I'm going in the car, and you can see people rolling on the sands of Vrindavan still. So people actually, just like how in Tiruvannamalai they do the Pradakshinam Girivalam around the mountain there, even here people do Girivalam of Govardhana mountain. They first do that. Plus you can see people literally on the roads of Vrindavan, they'll be rolling themselves because they say that is the land where Krishna has walked, right? Has lived 7-8 years of Vrindavan, and so many people are going to come there. Brahma is going to come to visit him there. Narada is going to come visit him there. All these people are going to come and visit Krishna in Vrindavan. So it is such a punya kshetram that, they all come there. That place is so sanctified. So which is what they again trying to say, that you just walking there made that place even more purified. Vihita jagati raksham Lakshmi karambuja lalitam, dadati charana dvandvam vrindavane twai pavane kimiva na bhabhau sampat sampuritam taru vallari, long e, put a plus, salila dharani gotra kshetradikam kamalapate. So everything became prosperous. The trees which are there, the creepers which are there, the mountains, the water, everything is becoming prosperous because you are there. Vihita jagati raksham lakshmi karambujala dadati charanadvandvam vrindavane tvayi pavane kimiva na bhabhau sampat sampuritam taruvallari salila dharani gotra kshetradikam kamalapate.
विहितजगति रक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणद्वन्द्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न बभौ सम्पत् सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणी गोत्र क्षेत्रादिकं कमलापते विहितजगति रक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणद्वन्द्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न बभौ सम्पत् सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणी गोत्रक्षेत्रादिकं कमलापते
विहितजगति रक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणद्वन्द्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न बभौ सम्पत् सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणी गोत्रक्षेत्रादिकं कमलापते विहितजगति रक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणद्वन्द्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न बभौ सम्पत् सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणी गोत्रक्षेत्रादिकं कमलापते
संसत्रि विलसधुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनादः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः. So one day, right, when all of them had gone grazing along with the calves, all the boys had actually gone, and they were actually seeing, they were on the banks of Yamuna. That's where all these incidents are going to happen every single time. It's going to be the same thing. They're all going to go grazing during the day, and then they're going to go to Yamuna River, and then something is going to happen. So here, the first one of those things. So they go, they can see the Govardhana mountains from there. Krishna is now on his flute already at 3 years. So they're all going there. Suddenly they see, that they see a big calf, right? Who was actually, it seems very unusual. So they are actually seeing on the banks of Yamuna, along with the calves that they actually have, there is one calf which is actually behaving very unusually there, because it's an asura who has come in the form of a vatsa, in the form of a calf, merged in with the calves that they have. बिलसदुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुल यमुना तीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललित मुरलीनादः पुट इस् नादस् सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः. बिलसधुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनादः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः.
विलसदुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनाथः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः. विलसदुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनाथः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः.
विलसदुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनादः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः. विलसदुलपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललितमुरलीनादः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकम् क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षथाः
रभस विलसत् पुच्छं विच्छाय तोस्य विलोकयन् किमपि वलितस्कन्धं रन्ध्रप्रतीक्षमुदीक्षितं तमत चरणे बिभ्रद् बिभ्रामयन् मुहुरुच्चकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे चिक्षेपितक्षतजीवितम्. So Krishna could see that this calf was behaving very unusual, although it was mixed with the rest of the calves, he was trying to somehow get out of that and do something. So Krishna tells Balrama that, I can see that this is not a normal calf, which is kind of intruded into our thing. And then that calf was somehow moving its tail briskly. It was trying to, keep looking at Krishna and Balarama. So at that time, Krishna then goes, he essentially grabs that calf with its legs and then, swings it and then just throws the calf away. So you can see some of these pictures of exact these things in action in two places that I've seen. One is when you go to Vrindavan and you go to this place called Prem Mandir, which is a beautiful white temple. And outside the entire temple, they have carvings of each of these stories. So next time when you go, you can literally take this and you can see Krishna lifting the calf by its feet. That is one carving which is there. And same thing in Guruvayur also, if you ever go to the back side of the temple, so inside, once you enter, you finish your darshan and then you have to come around. When you go to the back, you will see all those murals where they have all of these paintings in there. So anyway, so in this case, he lifts the calf by its hind legs and then disposes that asura off, throws that asura off. Rabasat bilasat pucham vichayatosya vilokayan, kimapi valita skandham randra pratiksham udikshitam. So breaking that, pratiksham udikshitam tamata charane bibrat bibhramayan muhuruchakaihi, kuhachana mahavrikshe chikshepita kshata jeevitam. So you then throw that calf onto a big tree which is actually there. Rabasa vilasat pucham vichaya tosya vilokayan kimapi valitaskandham randha pratiksham tamata charane bibrat bibhramayan muhuruchakaihi kuhachana mahavrikshe chikshepita kshata jeevitam.
Rabhasa vilasat pucham विच्छायतोऽस्य विलोकयन् किमपि वलितस्कन्धं रन्ध्रप्रतीक्षम् उदीक्षितम् तमथ चरणे बिभ्रामयन् मुहुरुचकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे चिक्षेपितः क्षतजीवितम् रभस विलसत् पुच्छं विच्छायतोऽस्य विलोकयन् किमपि वलितस्कन्दं रन्ध्रप्रतीक्षम् उदीक्षितं तमथ चरणे बिभ्रामयन् मुहुरुच्चकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे चिक्षेपितः क्षतजीवितम्
रभस विलसत् पुच्छं विच्छायतोऽस्य विलोकयन् किमपि वलितस्कन्धं रन्ध्राप्रतीक्षमुदीक्षितम् तमथ चरणे बिभ्रद्विभ्रामयन् मुहुरुच्चकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे चिक्षेपितः क्षतजीवितम् रभस विलसत् पुच्छं विच्छायतोऽस्य विलोकयन् किमपि विलसत्कन्धं रन्ध्राप्रतीक्षम् उदीक्षितम् तमथ चरणे बिभ्रद्विभ्रामयन् मुहुरुच्चकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे चिक्षेपितः क्षतजीवितम्.
The second line, valita skandham. And then the next word is randhra.
Randhra pratiksham udikshita.
Yeah, I think you added an extra A there when you were saying. So just randhra pratiksham. Yeah. Sounds fine. Nipatati mahadaitye jatya duratmani takshanam निपतन जवक्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलत् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवतो हर्षात् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे. So the next two stanzas meaning together. Nipatati महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं, निपतन जव क्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षत कानने दिवि परिमिलत् वृन्दारकाः, put the ich sound, वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः, शिरसि भवतो हर्षात् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे. निपतति महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं निपतन जवक्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलत् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवतो हर्षात् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
निपतति महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं निपतनजवक्षणक्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलद् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवो हर्षाद् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
A second line, Mrinalini. Second. Nipatana java क्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह.
क्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह. ओके. निपतति महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं निपतन जव क्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलद् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवो हर्षाद् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
Last line, second word, bhavato harshat.
शिरसि भवतो हर्षाद् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
Rajesh ji, on the third line, Divi Parimilad Vrinda Visarga irukku ennoda book la, so remove it.
ஆமா, அந்த விருந்தாக்கு அப்புறம் இருக்காது, விருந்தாரகாஹ்க்கு அப்புறம் இருக்கும். So if you have it after விருந்தா, you can remove it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
இது பிருந்தான் சொன்னமா விருந்தான் சொன்னோம்?
V as in Vishnu, Victor, விருந்தா.
ஓகே, புக்ல எல்லாம் பிருந்தான் போட்டுக்கோ. ஓகே. निपतति महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं निपतन जवक्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलद् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमात्करैः शिरसि भवतो हर्षाद्वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
Third line, last word, kusumotkaraihi.
निपतति महोदैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणं निपतन जवक्षुण्ण क्षोणीरुह क्षतकानने दिवि परिमिलद् वृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवतो हर्षाद्वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे.
Stanza 6. Surabilatama मूर्धन् यूर्ध्वं कुतः कुसुमा बलि निपतति तवेत्युक्तो बाले सहेलमुदैरयः झटिति धनुजक्षेपेनोर्ध्वं गतस्तरुमण्डलात् कुसुमनिकरसोऽयं नूनं समेति शनैरिति. So with that, when Krishna took that Vatsasura and then held it by the hind legs, swung it and threw it on top of a tree. So at that time, that like it normally happens, he took on the big form of that Asura and then he fell crashing on the tree. And when that happened, all the fruits and everything which was there kind of fell from the tree. And then, the boys then enjoyed the fruits, and then there was flowers also which actually fell from other places onto it. And all the other boys are wondering, asking Krishna, where is all these flowers falling from? Because in Bhartaripada, the poet is saying that, the gods are showering flowers on you, Krishna. And when that happens, the boys ask, well, how come flowers are falling? So Krishna says it's because of the tree. The Asura, this calf fell on the tree. and from there all these flowers are falling. So with that, that Vatsasura is gotten rid of. Surabhi Latama Murdhan Yurdhvam Kutaha Puta Kutah Kusumavali, Nipatati Tavetyukto Balaihi Puta Balais Sahelam Udairayah Jhatiti Danuja Kshepenordvam Gatas Taru Mandalat, Kusuma Nikaraha Puta Nikaras Soyam Noonam Samiti Shanairiti. See, the word Kusuma keeps repeating. That just means flowers. So it just means flower. It's falling on flowers. Flowers are falling on Krishna. That's why the words keep repeating.
ராஜேஷ் நிபததி தவேத் யுக்தக்கு அப்புறம் விசர்க்கம் இருக்கா இல்ல
Yukto. Yukto, I don't know that. If you have yuktaha, that becomes a yukto balais.
Okay.
ராஜேஷ் இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல குத்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன நீங்க போட சொன்னீங்க?
H sound. Kutah.
Okay.
H as in Harry. Kutah Kusumavali.
ராஜேஷ் சாரி த்ரூஅவுட் இது வந்து எல்லா ஸ்டான்ஸாலையும் எங்க பிருந்தா வந்தாலும் விருந்தான்னு மாத்திக்கணுமா?
Although in this case, the previous stanza, the Vrinda doesn't refers to the Tulsi. It refers to gods and other things because the Vrinda has multiple meanings. But if you're following Tamil, most of the times they would have changed it to a ba.
நான் இது ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஆனா எல்லாத்துலயும் அங்கேயும் பிருந்தான் தான் இருக்கு.
Okay. Just change it to va. Wherever the ba, Vrinda, it won't come at all. It's always be va only. Okay.
அந்த ஹோல் தசகத்திலேயே ப இருந்தா வ மாத்திக்கணும் இல்லையா?
Only where Vrinda is there, yeah. Because the other bas irukku, but yeah. Where if there any reference to Vrinda in terms of Vrindavan or in the previous about Vrinda Rakaha, which refers to the gods and everything. So under all of that is a va. Yeah.
Okay.
Surabhilatama Murdhan Yurdhvam Kutah Kusuma Bali Nipatati Tavetyukto Balai Sahela Mudairayah Jhatiti Danuja Kshepenordvam Gatastaru Mandalat Kusuma Nikarasoyam Noonam Samiti Shanairiti.
Surabhilatama Murdhan Yurdhvam Kutas Kusumavali Nipatati Tavetyukto Balai Sahela Mudairayah Jhatati Danuja Kshepenotvam Gatastaru Mandalat Kusumanikara Soyam Noonam Sameti Shanairiti. Surabhilatama Murdhan Yurdhvam Kutah Kusumavali Nipatati Tavetyukto Balai Sahela Mudairayah Jhatati Danuja Kshepenotvam Gatastaru Mandalat Kusumanikara Soyam Noonam Sameti Shanairiti.
Third line, first word, Jhatiti. T sound. Jhatiti.
Yeah. Jhatiti Danuja Kshepenotvam. Thank you.
Surabhilatama Murdhvan Yurdhvam Kutah Kusumavali Nipatati Tavetyukto Balai Sahela Mudairayah Jhatiti Tanujakshepenordhvam Katastarumandalat Kusumanikarasoyam Noonam Sameti Shanairiti. Surabhilatama Murdhvan Yurdhvam Kutah Kusumavali Nipatati Tavetyukto Balai Sahela Mudairayah Jhatiti Tanujakshepenordhvam Katastarumandalat Kusumanikarasoyam Noonam Sameti Shanairiti.
That's a 7. Kvachana divase bhuyo bhuyastare parusha tape tapanatanaya pataf patum gata bhavadadayah chalita garutam preksha masurbhakam khalu vismritam kshitidhara garuchede kailasa shailamivaparam. So that story is over, new story. So another day when Krishna and Balarama and all the calves, they had actually gone there to Yamuna, and then they were taking a break. The calves were drinking water there. So right on that area, they actually saw a very big crane, the white crane, which was actually standing there, which was just massive in size. So the comparison they are doing here is as if Mount Kailasha was standing there. So it was like white in color, it is very big in size, and then it was a crane which is there, and it was flapping its wings. So it was just there, which was very unusually standing there when the boys had actually gone there to see. क्वचन दिवसे भूयो भूयस्तरे परुषातपे, तपन तनया पातः पुट एफ पातः पातुं गता भवदादयः चलित गरुतं प्रेक्षामासुर्भकं खलु विस्मृतं. Bakam here refers to the crane, that is Bakasura. Bakam खलु विस्मृतं, क्षितिधर गरुच छेदे कैलास शैलम इवापरम. So Mrinali, just repeat one time. I want to finish this off, this Dasakam. क्वचन दिवसे भूयो भूयस्तरे परुषातपे तपनतनया पातः पातुं गता भवदादयः चलितगरुतं प्रेक्षामासुर्बकं खलु विस्मृतं क्षितिधरगरुच्छेदे कैलासशैलमिवापरम्.
क्वचन दिवसे भूयो भूयस्तरे परुषातपे तपनतनया पातः पातुं गता भवदादयः चलितगरुतं प्रेक्षामासुर्बकं खलु विस्मृतं क्षितिधरगरुच्छेदे कैलासशैलमिवापरम्.
क्वचन दिवसे भूयो भूयस्तरे परुषातपे तपनतनया पातः पातुं गत भवदादयः चलितगरुतं प्रेक्षामासुर्बकं खलु विस्मृतं क्षितिधरगरुच्छेदे कैलासशैलम् इवापरम्.
पिबति सलिलं गोपव्राते भवन्तम् अभिद्रुतः सकिल निगिलन्नग्ने प्रक्यं पुनर्द्रुतम् उद्वमन् दलयितुमगात्रोट्याः कोट्या ददाशु भवान् विभो खलजनबिदाचुञ्चुश्चञ्चू प्रगृह्य ददारतम्. So when they were all there and the boys were all drinking water from Yamuna, at this time this crane then comes running towards Krishna, and then it opens, because it's massive in size, it opens its mouth, and then essentially it's able to swallow Krishna over. It is that big in size. So it then just swallows Krishna over. So at that time when Krishna then goes and he gets stuck in the throat of the crane. So in the throat of the crane, like when Trinavarta had lifted, he had become big in size. So here what he does is, and the big in size is going to happen again in 51. But here for the crane, what he does is he becomes very hot. So the crane could not hold Krishna in its mouth anymore, that it ends up trying to spit Krishna out. So he then spits Krishna out because it was getting very hot there. And so with that, and you can see some of this in the images, he then holds on to the two beaks of the crane and then, gets rid of the crane. The Bakasura is gotten rid of there. Pibati salilam gopa vrate bhavantam abhidrutah, sakila nigilan agni. So if you want to break it, it's nigilan and agni, but it takes a double na there. Nigilan agni prakyam punardhrutam udvaman dalayitumagat trotyaha, put a h to join, trotyah kotya tadashu bhavan vibho, khala jana bhida chunchush chanchu pragrihya dadaratam. पिबति सलिलं गोपव्राते भवन्तमभिद्रुतः सखिल निगिलन्नग्नि प्रक्यं पुनर्द्रुतमुद्वमन् दलयितुमगात्रोट्याः कोट्या ददाशु भवान् विभो खलजनभिदा चुञ्चुश्चञ्चू प्रगृह्य ददारतम्.
पिबति सलिलं गोपव्राते भवन्तम् अभिद्रुतः स किल निगिलन्नग्निप्रख्यं पुनर्धृतम् उद्वमन् दलयितुमगात्रोट्या कोट्या तदाशु भवान् विभो खलजनबिदा चिञ्चुश्चुञ्चू प्रगृह्य ददारतम्.
Last line. Chunchush chanchu. Last line.
Chunchush chanchu. Chunchush
Yeah.
chanchu.
Rajesh
Yeah,
ji, and the
chanchu is referring to breaking the beaks. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, throatya kapro visarga irka?
And the throatyaha, anga on the H, again the ha sound comes. Throatyah, kotya.
Okay, thank you.
पिबति सलिलं गोपव्राते भवन्तमभिधृतः सकिल निगलन्नग्निप्रख्यं पुनर्धृतम् उद्वमन् दलयितुमगात् त्रोट्याः कोट्या ददाशु भवन् विभो खलजनभिराचुञ्चुश्चञ्चु प्रगृह्य ददारतम्.
Usha, second line. Nigilan. Second word.
Nigilan
Agni. I think we said Nigalan. It's Nigilan. Okay. Stanza 9. We'll quickly wrap it up. Sapadi sahajam sandrashtum va mritam khalu putanam. Put a im at the end of that line. Putanam. Next word, the manujam becomes anujam. Anujam agamapyagre. You can break out those mas if you want. Anujam agamapyagre gatva pratikshitum evava shamana nilayam yate tasmin bake sumano ghane, comma, kirati sumano vrindam vrindavanat grihamayathaha. This is with this Bakasura goes. Now, all of them, the Bakasura is related to Putana, who is also going to be related to Aghasura, who is going to come in 50. So they're all like siblings. He says this way, the Bakasura goes back to Putana, who's as if he wants to meet his sister Putana, and then they're all now awaiting the arrival of Aghasura, who is going to come later. So with that, each one at a time, they are then getting rid of. So with that, he also goes away, and then you all go back to your house in Vrindavanam. Sapadi sahajam sandrashtum va mritam khalu putanam anujamagamapyagre gatva pratikshitum baba shamana nilayam yate tasmin bake sumano gane kirati sumano vrindam vrindavanat grihamayatha.
सपदि सहजां संद्रष्टुं वामृतां खलु पूतनाम् अनुजम् अघमप्यग्रे गत्वा प्रतीक्षितुमेव वा शमननिलयं याते तस्मिन् बके सुमनो गणे किरति सुमनो वृन्दावनात् गृहमय्यथाः.
सपदि सहजां सन्दृष्टुं वामृतां खलु पूतनाम् अनुजमघमप्यग्रे गत्वा प्रतीक्षितुमेव वा शमननिलयं याते तस्मिन् बके सुमनो गणे किरति सुमनो वृन्दावनात् गृहमय्यथाः.
Ushan, the first line, third word, drashtumva.
Okay, sandrashtumva.
Okay. Stanza 10. Lalitam muralhinadam duran nishamya vadhujanaihi tvaritam upagamya radharudhamodamudikshitah janita janani nandananda samirana mandira pratita vasate shaure duri kurushva mamamayan. So when the Bakasura had swallowed Krishna or put him in his mouth, so all these Gopa boys were like absolutely terrified because they have no chance of going and helping Krishna out. They are also all small. So, but then Krishna somehow came out and he got rid of it. So they all were very happy. Now, what this ends up happening is these boys, more and more they see this, they start believing that because this is some great person. No, they don't, small boys, so they can't think of Krishna as God or anything. But they think he's like some superhuman, right? Like he has all these powers, he has these special skills that he's able to do all of these things. And the boys absolutely have trust and confidence in Krishna, which we're going to see in so many other Dashakams. They have so much faith that if Krishna is around, nothing is going to happen because he's somehow going to fight us out of all of these problems, right? So with that, they all return. And there's an interesting mention here which is going to continue into the next chapter. So the way they always know these boys are coming is they all play their respective flutes or they play their respective noise, and each one plays it differently. So that's how their parents know that that respective son or boy is coming home. So with that, you all are playing your flute, so the parents know, the mothers know that you are actually coming back home, and then with that, you all come back. They come, and like it always happens, they all recite. They say, today we went there, we saw this massive crane which was actually there, and the crane swallowed Krishna, and Krishna then broke it up. And then the parents don't believe. They say the same story you've been telling since Gokulam, the same thing is repeating. They end up not believing it anyways. So with that, this session comes to an end. Guru Arpla, please eradicate my ailments. Lalita Murali Nadam Duran Nishamya Vadhujanaihi. Put a visarga comma, Vadhujanaihi. Next line, that is goes away. Tvaritam, breaking at that ma. Tvaritam upagamyarat. So the da that is there, I'm going to break it. It and a, so it's easy. Tvaritam upagamyarat arudha modham udikshitah. Okay, so this one better to break it into all those four parts, else it will be difficult to say it. Janita, Janani, Nandanandah, put a is Nandanandas, Samirana, Mandira, put a plus, Pratita, Vasate, Shaure, comma, Duri Kurushva, Mamamaya. So the third line is together, fourth line after Shaure, comma, Duri Kurushva, Mamamayan. Lalitam Muralhinadam Duran Nishamya Vadhujanaihi Tvaritamupagambyarat Arudhamodhamudikshitah Janita Janani Nandananda Samirana Mandira Pratita Vasate Shaure Duri Kurushva Mamamayan.
ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्यारादारूढमोदमुदीक्षतः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिरप्रथितवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व मम मयन्. Sorry. Mamayan.
நீங்க இது பிரேக் பண்ண சொல்றது ராதவட்டி ராதா ரூடவா
இல்ல त्वरितम् उपगम्यारात् इत् उपगम्यारात् आरूढ.
ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्यारात् आरूढमोदमुदीक्षितः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिर प्रतितवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व ममामयन्.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladheshavadebhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tattavadbhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
We are halfway there.
Thank you.
Thank you.